What's going on, everyone? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Ducks Dish podcast. I'm your host, Max Torres, publisher and lead editor of Ducks Digest, covering the Oregon Ducks for Sports Illustrated on Fan Nation. Joining me on today's episode of the Ducks Dish podcast is Oregon 2022 defensive line signee, Sir Mells from Liberty High School in Henderson, Nevada. Sir, welcome to the show. How are we doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for being here, man.
Thank you for having me.
Excited to talk about your story as an athlete, your journey to Oregon, because I think it's definitely an interesting one. Before we talk about Oregon, I kind of wanted to rewind the clock a little bit and get to know you a little bit more. Outside of football, right? You're more than an athlete. You got other stuff going on in your life. So that's kind of the first question I wanted to ask you. Who is Sir Mells off the football field?
Just a high energy person. I mean, my personality definitely takes me a long way. I mean, I love putting smiles on people's faces. I just feel like my energy, anytime I'm around, I'm always going to be high energy. I'm a friendly person. Like I said, I'm just a fun person to be around.
I definitely get that vibe a lot. Especially with you being a commit in this class, I feel like you've been a very vocal recruiter for the Ducks. You always want to get to know new people and kind of spread love for the Ducks, which is awesome. So definitely got a strong personality for sure. I think one of the things that a lot of people don't seem to know is that you actually originally were born in Florida. So kind of just wanted to learn a little bit more about your childhood and what it was like for you growing up.
Yeah, I was born in Orlando, Florida, January 3rd, 2004. I moved to Vegas, I think I was around like 5 or 6. I was born in Florida, but basically raised in Vegas. I was just me and my mom. I've been playing football since I was 3. I actually got kicked out the little flag football league for tackling, so I got banned from that. And then from there, I went to go play tackle, and from then I was like, this is something I really love, and I feel like I can just take this to the next level. And look where he got me, and I'm definitely honored and blessed to have the opportunity to have that I'm facing right now.
Okay, well, we definitely got to go back to the getting kicked out for tackling in a second. But before that, so yeah, born in Florida. Obviously, that's something you take a lot of pride in. I think you have Florida Made tattooed on your arms, if I remember correctly from your photo shoot, which is super cool. So what was it like for you, making that cross-country move at such a young age? I mean, it probably wasn't that big of a deal because that's kind of when your memory's kicking in right around that age. But I guess what was it like making that move and then growing up in the Vegas area?
Honestly, it was one of those things where my mom came out here on a business trip, and it was just like pack every day we leaving, and I was like, wow, it's one of those type of moves. But I mean, honestly, I think it was one of the best moves for me, honestly, because Lord knows what I'll be doing while still in Florida. I don't think I'll be still in this position right now, or even granted, I'll be sitting here right now. But it's like I feel like this move was definitely a great move for me, and not only just me and my mom, and she's loving it out here. I'm loving it out here. It's got me great friendships I would never in my life give up. I met people while moving out here, so I'll definitely say the move was definitely a positive for me and my family.
Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty big move to make at a young age, but sounds like, you ended up where you're supposed to be, which is awesome. So let's rewind a little bit to the tackle football incident, if you want to call it that, getting kicked out. I got to get more on that story there. How did that kind of come about, and I guess just how did that happen?
So I was playing flag football with the Florida Jaguars. There's a little what's it called, flag football team out there, and I wanted to start football, and I was like, I got to start somewhere, so why not start with flag? So I played with 2 teams, the Jaguars, and I can't remember the other teams, like the little NFL little league thing. So I was doing that for I don't know how many months, but I guess one game I don't know what I was doing. I was going crazy, and I was tackling kids, hurting kids, and making kids cry. And my mom got a call. Was like, "Oh, sir, you can't play no more. The league has banned him from playing flag football." And he don't know what else to tell you. And me, like being so young, I'm like, what? Like I'm the little kid. I can't play flag football no more. Like I don't want to do this no more. My mom was like, no, there's tackle football, blah blah blah. And as a little kid, you like tackle football. Like what? I'm gonna get hurt. But it's like, nah, that's not what it was about. It was just having fun and ever since I got banned for flag football, I never put flags around my waist ever again. So.
Okay, yeah, so that physicality was there from a young age and intensity, it sounds like. Yeah, because I mean, obviously, people hear that you got banned from the flag football league or team, whatever you want to call it, and the natural transition seems like tackle. But was that tough for your mom at all? Because I feel like a lot of moms they're a little hesitant nowadays when it comes to putting kids in tackle football, and then maybe for your situation, it might have been at a bit of a younger age because flag football didn't go as long as you expected.
My mom was one tough person. I mean, she had 3 boys all together, and my oldest brother went through the whole thing. He was fortunate to play on an NFL team. So, I mean, throwing me to flag football was like, okay, this is another boy. Let's do the same thing we do with the oldest one. So, my mom's a pretty tough person, so she wasn't really worried about the whole, oh, I don't want my son to get hurt. Nah. She just like throw me in the fire, and whatever happens, happens type of mom. But yeah, I definitely appreciate her for doing that because if I didn't play that young, I don't think I had the same love as I do for football as I did if I was little and didn't play.
Okay. Yeah, some of that tough love as far as throwing you in the fire. It sounds like, um, and just kind of sticking with your childhood and getting to know you a little bit more as a football player and a kid. Where did this love for football kind of come from with you? I'm curious to see kind of what your story is with that regard.
Honestly, just watching my big brother, like being a little kid and going to high school games. It's like when you're little, high school kids are like that's like the biggest thing to you because that's all you know. You don't really know much about college. You know a little bit about the NFL, but high school football, you actually go to all the games. It's like I want to be just like my brother when I grow up, and watching his game is like okay, I want to even be better than him around that age when I was watching him and. Just going to the games, like I said, with family and seeing him happy, winning championship, winning trophies, getting awards and stuff. I was like, dang, like I want to be able to do that too. So I kind of got the love from just following my brother's footsteps, my big brother's footsteps.
Yeah, sounds like maybe you guys were competitive and you were saying like
Till
you
this
wanted to
day,
be.
till this day, I tell him up and down. He went to Illinois State and he was playing tackle. So me being a defensive line, I'm like, I'll kill you now. Like I'm bigger than you, I'm stronger than you, I'm faster than you, I'll get you. But them old brothers, they like, nah, never. To the day I die, you would never beat me. You know how it goes.
So he was an offensive tackle.
Yeah, he played offensive tackle. He played D-line his first year at Illinois State. Spring ball they moved him to I think right tackle if I'm not mistaken. And then ever since he's played on the O line. So me being a defensive lineman, we hate offensive linemen. So it's definitely a battle that we have to find out soon. Definitely.
That sounds like the perfect matchup then, with you being a defensive lineman and having him to kind of push you and go against with that regard. I mean, and also you talk about with his journey and starting at defensive line in college and then moving over to the offensive line. I think that kind of takes a pretty special type of athlete to be able to make that transition because I think the skill positions get all of the glory, but I mean the guys in the trenches are easily some of the best athletes in sports.
That's so true. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, let's stay there for a second. What kind of athleticism do you think it takes, or what kind of athlete does it take to make a successful defensive lineman?
Honestly, physicality. That's the biggest one. Like when it comes to playing defensive line, you can't be soft. It's not a soft man position. Like you have to give it all you got and just give it 100. And that's like I said, physicality is like the number one thing. You gotta be able to move because some of these backs are speedy, and you gotta be able to get off blocks and chase down and move lateral direction. It's like you definitely gotta be athletic and have that aggression that nobody else can take from you. Like the offensive linemen, they try to protect their quarterback, and they don't want nobody touching their quarterback, so they gonna go 110% every play, and you gotta match that same intensity or even more to be able to stop that play or that QB. So you just gotta have that aggression with you and just be physical when you're playing D-line.
The physicality is such a huge part of the game, like you mentioned. I'm sure you get double teamed a bunch, and it takes a different kind of fight to just be able to, all right, here we go again. Going up against and colliding with these offensive linemen. There was one question that I don't want to switch up too much, but I wanted to ask you since we were talking about your childhood and kind of your love for football. When did you kind of realize that you were going to be bigger than most kids? You're 6'5", 300 plus pounds, if I remember correctly. When did you realize you were bigger than most kids your age and that you were really going to have a shot to do something with this football thing?
Honestly, during youth football, I mean, I know I was the biggest kid on the field, but it was like you're playing youth football. I'm just trying to play to win a trophy on Saturday. And honestly, I didn't really start seeing football can take me places until my 8th grade year, when I was just like, dang, people were telling me like, you're finna go to high school, and high school would come with high school comes colleges and offers. So I was just like, dang, like when you little, you just like, oh dang, it's gonna be hard to go to college and play college football, but it's really not. If you really have that mindset that the other athletes have, then you would get to that point you would get to. So I say definitely my 8th grade year would really made me wake up and like, okay, sir, you're the biggest thing out here. You actually take your talent and go play for somebody and even eventually get to the NFL. So yeah, definitely 8th grade year was probably my wake up call.
Getting the wake up call in 8th grade, and things got real in high school. Obviously, for you, attracting some major offers. Kind of want to reflect on the high school experience for you, and just what does it mean to you to be able to have that opportunity to play at the next level after playing 4 strong years of high school football.
Oh man, high school went by so fast. It was like I was talking to my mom about that. Like I just remember the other day I was getting ready for my freshman year and getting brought up from freshman to JV, and it's just like dang. And with me, we had COVID year, so it's like I experienced something that not a lot of high school kids have ever experienced. Like I did a whole year of virtual online schooling, and it was definitely a big adjustment. I missed my whole junior year due to COVID, and it was just a crazy wild time. But it's definitely some of the best times I probably had with like meeting friends. And I went to Hawaii, someplace I'd never been before, just because of the game of football. And it was like it's opened so many doors for me, and I'm definitely like blessed for it. And I mean, like I said, high school it went by so fast, and college I know it will go by even more faster. And I definitely enjoyed high school, but it's closing the chapter, getting ready for the new chapter. I got 3 to 4 years, even 5 years, and get on with that, and hopefully make it to the league after that.
Yeah, the high school game obviously opened a lot of doors for you. You get some really cool experiences. I only played 2 years of high school ball, but I was around the
Mhm.
team for all 4 years, and some of the games that I got to go to. We went to state my senior year. I definitely know what you're talking about. Just having some awesome experiences with your
Yeah,
brothers, and it's like nothing else, man. I mean, unless you were around it or played it, people don't know what those Friday night lights mean.
yeah, it's a different type of feel. Like I said, I went to Hawaii. How many kids can say they went to Hawaii to play a football game, and we spent a week out in Hawaii just to play a football game? Like that's like the big things that make you feel good. Like okay, this is another reason I'm playing this sport, so I can go places I've never been before.
Yeah, let's stay on that Hawaii trip. Tell me a little bit more about that, and kind of why you went out to Hawaii, and what that
Mhm.
experience was like.
So it was my sophomore year. It was my first year on varsity, and every year we try to do a big trip, like whether it's to California or this year. My junior year we were supposed to go to Maryland, but this whole COVID thing happened, so we didn't take that trip. But my sophomore year, it was right before the season. We were doing summer ball, and coach was like, "Oh, we got a mandatory team meeting, blah blah blah." We was like, "What is going on? Like, we getting new uniforms or something? Like, what's happening?" So coach was like, "Well, the game that we had, blah blah blah, got canceled." We was like, "Oh dang, we don't got a game our first game." But he was like, there is one thing we could do, blah, blah, blah. He was like, let's just say we got a big game coming up. We don't know against who yet, but we got a big game. So it was like, what, 3 weeks before we supposed to play the team, we found out we were going to Hawaii. And when I tell you, if you was in that room and felt the intensity that we found out we was going to Hawaii, you probably would have been like, what the heck? Like, everybody was just so happy. But long story short, we ended up going out there losing. That loss made us really connect more, and we went on to win state. So yeah, that Hawaii trip was definitely an experience that I'll never forget.
Tough loss, bred some excellence for you guys. Obviously,
Mhm.
finishing with the state title. Want to talk about more recently now. You talked about COVID and the challenges that kind of presented for you. Want to talk about Oregon and kind of the next step for you, but really before we talk about Oregon, I want to talk about just going through the pandemic as an athlete, right? I
Mhm.
think you guys in the 2022 class are going to have a really unique story to tell, because before you got out to Oregon in June and ultimately made your commitment, your recruitment was almost entirely virtual and you weren't allowed to
Mhm.
take visits. So, what was it like for you going through that virtual recruitment, and then just COVID as an athlete? What did you learn about yourself?
It was definitely different. Like, excuse me, it was definitely different. Like getting to talk to these guys every day, but not getting to see them in person. Like usually we have school visits and they come to school weekly, monthly, and it's like not be able to have that. It was just like, okay, I'm basically talking to a bunch of strangers. Like if you really think about it, like, I never met these people, but it's just talking to him every day made us more like communicate better. I would say like Oregon. I was just talking to Oregon literally every day. I'll get a text from somebody. I'll get a call from somebody. It could be a player, director of player personnel, on-site recruiting, like from anybody. I'll get some type of text from somebody at Oregon. It was just like, okay, they keeping up with me even through hard times. It's like they showed me they really wanted me, and I was like, this is a place I can definitely see myself for the next couple of years.
Okay, yeah, it sounds like showing that they're showing that love and excuse me, they're showing that love to you, and that they really want you and Eugene to be a part of what they're building there.
Mhm.
But with this whole COVID thing, you talk about missing your junior season. Obviously, the isolation and the mental challenges that come with that. How did you overcome that, and what was that like for you?
Honestly, this whole COVID thing, everybody took it as a negative. Honestly, I took it as a positive. Like, it gave me an extra year to just grind, like, get my speed faster for my senior year, work on stuff I need to work on. Like, I just turned that negative and turned it positive and try to get to my best ability I can. And I definitely did that. I feel like I definitely did that. I got most of my offers during COVID, as you know, and COVID really did a lot for me. It definitely opened doors. And I just turned that negative situation, like I said, and made it positive.
I love that mentality, man. You gotta be able to deal with adversity in these days and whatever you're
Definitely.
doing. If you're pursuing an NFL career or if
Mhm.
you're writing. I was listening to a podcast the other day about Kurt Warner and his kind of journey through football. He was in a grocery store at some point, and he was talking
Mhm.
about how I want my aisle to everything be perfectly facing out, all the labels and everything. So just making the best of your situation is really kind of
Facts.
what that all circles back
It's the
to.
mentality you have to have.
Definitely, man. And then let's look at December. Obviously, that was a very eventful month for you. Ended up signing your letter of intent with Oregon, but you had a pretty big wrench thrown into everything when Mario left to go to Miami. So just wanted to get your perspective on that and what it was like for you to see such a big change come at a pretty big moment for you.
It was different. Like it was literally weeks before signing and finding out that dang near the whole coaching staff is leaving. It was just like, oh man, what I'm gonna do. I was kind of at a host still, but Don Johnson, I know a lot of people know Don. He was just the dude that was always in my ear, like, don't worry about everything.
Oh, we lost you, sir. Let's see if we can get you back here. Bear with us, folks, while we navigate some technical difficulties. I think Sir's just maybe he's getting a call or something. But maybe I can just ad lib a little bit while we're waiting to see if he can get back. He's gonna join back into the stream here, into the show, and we'll get Sir back on. So just bear with us.
Oh, there we go. My fault. My phone just
All right.
totally glitched.
No worries, man. You're all good. I entertained the audience for a second.
Yeah, no, I don't
Um,
know. I did not know what my phone did. I'm so sorry about that.
you're good, man. No worries. If you just wanted to pick up where you left off, you were talking about Don Johnson and kind of how he kept in your ear throughout the whole transition.
Oh yeah, Don. Like I was saying, Don was just in my ear. He was like, "Don't worry, everything gonna be okay. Like we got this." And I was just like, "All right, Don, I'm gonna take your word for this. Like I'm trusting you." And I don't, like I said, I don't regret signing. Like everything happens for a reason, like everybody say. And having Coach Lanning come in, I knew Phil Knight would trust Dan Lanning because why would he bring him? He didn't really trust him, and our AD trusted him. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a shot and see the stuff that he's building over the past few weeks. And it's like, dang, Coach Lanning's really serious about this program, and he really cares about this program. And the first time I ever talked to him, he was like, man, I'm not trying to take away from anything that you and Coach Cristobal had, man. He was just like, I'm just trying to come here and make the program the best it can be. And I was just like, I definitely respect that for you. Like he could have easily came in and, yeah, as you know, he could easily take offers when new coaches come in, but he stayed there, gave me a shot, and it was just like it's something I definitely want to be at.
He's got a big vision for the program for sure. I know he laid that out at his introductory press conference in Eugene, and has talked about it, at various times when he's getting asked questions as the Georgia head defensive coordinator, rather.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, tell me a little bit about your relationship with him, and then I don't know if you've been able to talk to Tony Tuoti, I think is his name, the new
Mm-hmm.
defensive line coach. Those are two guys that are going to be pretty big for your time at Oregon.
Yeah, I've talked to Coach Lanning quite a while. Like I mean, it feels the same as if Coach Criswell was recruiting me. Like, he reaches out. I know he's a busy man with everything going on, but he still finds some type of time in the day to at least call me or send a text or ask about my mom or how his family doing. Like, he's basically still showing me that, like, just because people left, nothing's going to change here. Like, I'm keeping the same energy. I'm keeping the same culture that Oregon has ever had. And Coach Tuioti, he's a good dude. Like, matter of fact, he was just texting me yesterday, and that's the first time we ever connected. And I was like, okay, Coach, like, Coach Lanning trusts you. Our AD trusts you, Phil Knight trusts you, and it's like, okay, like they have to say something. I know they brought you here for a reason. It was just like why not come here too? So
Awesome. Yeah, because you mentioned the Lanning trying to have some of that consistency, even though he's not in Eugene just yet. One of the things I was going to ask you is a lot of people are latching on to the fact that he's such a young head coach. And I'm curious to get your perspective on kind of what that's like for you. Just going into a situation like that where he's building out his staff with a lot of vets, but the guy running the show is pretty young, but you got to get your shot as a head coach at some point. So, I mean, pretty exciting stuff.
I see it as a positive. A young coach, a young-minded coach is always great. I mean, you never go wrong with a young-minded coach, and to have a defensive-minded coach too is definitely a positive. Like Coach Cristobal, he played offensive line when he back in his day, and he was offensive-minded. But to have a defensive-minded coach come in and be a head coach, so that's definitely a huge positive for our defense, and I like it. We have a young-minded coach. I love it.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, I can definitely see the positives from that. So you're signed to Oregon. I think you're getting there in about a month or so to start your college journey. Just wanted to ask, do you have any goals at Oregon, whether that be personal or as a team, once you get there?
Team-wise, I want to win a national championship before I leave. That's the main goal. I want to bring a natty to University of Oregon. A personal goal, just play as much as I can, and hopefully by my junior year, get ready to clear the draft. That's my end goal, my personal goals.
All right. And as you're heading into your college career, so much has happened, in the past, year and some change. You look at COVID, obviously, like we already talked about. NIL legislation has entered the picture, and just college football has really changed a lot. So I'm
Definitely.
kind of like there's so many external factors and so much going on aside from just the game itself, right? That's the kind of point I'm trying to get at. So how do you kind of approach that and navigate things like NIL and a changing landscape in college football?
Honestly, I just leave all that stuff alone. Like at the end of the day, I have a goal that I have to get to, and the NIL and all that other stuff's not gonna help me get to the NFL. Like it's gonna be my talent and my hard work I put into. I mean, when the time comes, I have to start worrying about NIL deals, and I'll get a team for it. But as of right now, it's just I see it as a distraction, honestly. But it's still good. It's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Like it's still good. They put in money into our pockets, and we actually get paid off our games and stuff. But I just see it for me. It's right now it's a distraction for me going into the freshman year. So I was just trying to put that aside right now and just focus on coming as a freshman year and trying to give all I got to the team.
I can definitely appreciate that perspective. When especially like when I was talking to the players during the press conferences, as the season kind of wound down and there was so much drama going on with all the coaching stuff, they were saying, we're just focused on this game. So I think that perspective is going to fit in perfectly. You just want to handle your business with the team and give your all to them to try to get this thing going once you get there.
100%.
All right, man. A couple more for you, then we'll get you out of here. I know that you, like we talked about, you've been one of the big peer recruiters for the Ducks, and you signed with Anthony Jones in December. I had him on the podcast not too long ago. Just wanted to ask about your relationship with him and what kind of guy the Ducks are getting.
Anthony, that's really my brother. Like when I get up there, you'll see me and him together so often. That's my brother. And him, I done heard everything about KT, and KT is this, but this is a new era. Like it's a new number 5 coming in talent. You see his build. He's just a freak athlete. Like it was just made for him, and he's gonna give all he's got 24/7. Like he's the type of dude that he's like, oh man, I'm tired, but no, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna give it one more rep. I'm gonna keep going until I die. Like he's the type of dude where if it was 4th and goal, we have to 1-yard line in Super Bowl, like you would want him on your front or in your back, just make the play. He's the type of dude that's going to give it his all 24/7 and not let up. But the Ducks, when they see him play, I'm like, oh my God, Turner is definitely a number one recruiter for sure.
All right. Yeah, that sounds like a playmaker, and a guy that you definitely want in those crunch time situations.
For sure.
And then with you, sir, in this 2022 group, obviously not as many signed during the early signing period as you could expect. That would make a lot of sense with what's going on with the Ducks right now. But what are your thoughts on this 2022 group and kind of the potential that it has as we near another signing period?
So this 2022 class is definitely gonna have a story behind it. Like you said, you wouldn't expect a lot of people to sign early with everything that happened, but I feel like this next signing day we will be straight. Like everything happens for a reason, like I said before, and this class can really be special with everything that's happening with coaches changes and the whole virtual thing, like you said earlier with the COVID. And it's like we're gonna be good. We're gonna be solid. I know Coach Lanning knows exactly what he's doing. He recruited some great guys, and I know we got a couple transfers and stuff coming in. It's like, I mean, whatever we got, we're gonna roll with, and whoever hops off, I mean, the train will still take off without him.
Hey, you mentioned the transfers that the Ducks have added. I'm sure you saw the big defensive lineman from Washington that committed today. Taki Taimani, I think was his name, Sam Taimani. And it looks like you guys are going to have some pretty big bodies there in the trenches here for a couple years to come.
Of course. I mean, I always say Coach Lanning's bringing the SEC to the Pac-12. I mean, you see the guys he's bringing over. We're going to have arguably the number one defense in the country, in my opinion, like with our linebackers, our defensive line, our corners, our safeties. It's like Coach Lanning's bringing a bunch of kids in. That's going to really change the culture at Oregon and bring a daddy back.
So we've heard that kind of phrase, bringing the SEC to Oregon, right? What does that mean to you? For someone who maybe isn't a diehard college football fan, and we're going through a new era in Eugene. What does that mean to you, bringing the SEC to Oregon?
So like my childhood conference. So my dream school is North. I'm from Florida. My dream school is Florida, University of Florida, and I want to be a Gator. And it's like the SEC is, you hear all about the SEC and how powerful this conference is, and it's the best conference in college football. But it's like there's still other conferences out here that can compete with them. And having Coach Lanning, he was in the conference and he knows exactly what he's doing. He's definitely bringing the SEC to the Pac-12. It's just like his mentality, his coaching style, and the amount of dudes he's bringing in. It's like it's going to be something crazy. And Pac-12, I know the Pac-12 is usually an underdog when it comes to SEC, but we're trying to make the Pac-12 even bigger than the SEC one day.
Some lofty goals, and you got to have those when you're chasing greatness. I think that's always a good thing to have. Well, sir, thank you so much for coming on, man. Before you hop out of here, I know people are really excited about you coming to Eugene and want to try to connect with you over social media. Where can people find you, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, just all those social platforms? Just want to give you a chance.
My Twitter and Instagram are both Sir Mells 40, no spaces. This is Sir Mells 40, and yeah, that's my username for both Instagram and Twitter.
All right, yeah, go make sure to shoot Sir a follow over on those platforms. If you guys want to find more of me, you can follow me on Twitter at mtorresports. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, Oregon Football Max Torres, do interviews like this one with Sir that you're watching right now pretty frequently. Do analysis and commentary, news stuff all the time, and really trying to grow that. So if you could subscribe to the channel, that'd be a tremendous help. And make sure to head on over to ducksdigest.com for your latest Oregon Ducks news and coverage. That'll do it for us on the Ducks Dish podcast. Big thank you to Sir for joining the show, and we will see everybody in the next episode.